Hey guys, it's Mike from That's Cool Vintage Collectibles. Today on the show, we're going to share some memories of Exhibition Stadium in Toronto and check out a little bit of baseball memorabilia. Then we're going to head down the highway to Boston and have a pint at Cheers. Hey guys, it's Mike. Today on the show, we're going to talk about my grandfather. And my grandfather was a World War II veteran, and he had the idea very early on that I should go to a ball game. And him and were very close for many, many years. And at the age of 5, he decided that probably it was the right time to take me to see a Toronto Blue Jays game. And so off we went. I don't remember very much of this, but I know we saw the Oakland Athletics, and I lasted about 4 innings. I do have a vague memory of just a couple of scenes. I remember the where we sat. We were on the third base side, up in the bleachers, and at Exhibition Stadium, which was always very loud, and the crowd was always very into the game. And it was a bright, sunny day. It was a day game, and it was, I think I was enjoying myself until the crowd got loud, and I got a bit afraid of that, so I think we left. But that was my first game, and seeing Oakland was a pretty cool experience looking back on it. And I did see a few games at Exhibition Stadium, 5 or 6 games. One game in particular in 1988, I saw the New York Yankees and became a lifelong Yankee fan after that, seeing Don Mattingly and Rickey Henderson play. And another time, my grandfather and I sat in the far bleachers in right field. And these bleachers, when you sat in them, you actually faced the football field that extended beyond the wall, and you had to turn your head and watch the game over there. And they were metal bleachers, and it was hot, and it was pretty awful, really. But I remember just being able to see Jesse Barfield, and that was about it. It was pretty far out. But that game, I got to see Cal Ripken play. So there was a lot of fond memories of Exhibition Stadium, and a couple of times that I went with my grandfather, and went with my dad the other times. And it was a great experience, and I'm so glad I did see games at Exhibition Stadium, because it was such a different environment than what you see now at Rogers Centre, which is a lot more, I'd say, calmed down and a little more corporate than what Exhibition Stadium used to be. It used to be for real ball fans back in those days, and I'm glad I had that experience. So my grandfather, being of the generation that he was a World War II veteran. There's a lot of people of that age that hung on to items. Certainly those that lived through the Great Depression. You often see that they had a hard time sort of throwing things out, or parting with things that they think they could use down the road. And he was not like that. He had very few possessions. He kept very little. And to me, it's very odd that the item I'm going to show you now actually still survived. This was an item that belonged to him in the 1940s, and for some reason he hung on to it. And when I was about 8 or 9, I started to kind of find it a very curious item when I would see it down in his basement, and I would ask him about it, and I would put it on and try it out. It's an old baseball glove, and I don't know why he kept it all these years, and then when he kept so little of anything else, but he hung on to that one. And then in my early teens, one day he just said, "Why don't you just take that home?" And I've kept it ever since. So let's take a look at that one. Okay, so here it is. This is a 1940 Jim Tabor signature model glove, and back in those days, man, you felt the ball. I'll put it that way. When you caught something in this glove, you felt every bit of it. And that's why a lot of times when you see players of that era catch a ball, they actually use 2 hands, and they sort of take the impact of the ball, and then they hold it with this, because it's pretty hard just to squeeze this and catch it. It's basically like playing baseball with an oversized gardening glove, because this doesn't have a lot of padding in it. anymore. But it's quite an artifact, and again, I don't know why he hung on to it all these years or what the significance was for him, but this was definitely a piece that he did treasure, and I'm so glad to have it now. And it's one of my absolute favorite pieces in my collection. So that is a Jim Tabor signature series baseball glove from the 1940s. I had to do a little research on Jim Tabor. It was not a name I was that familiar with. And he played for the Boston Red Sox, and 1940 was one of his better years with the team. Apparently a bit of a wild man off the field, to the point where the Red Sox hired a private detective to follow him around and try to curb his behavior, but he would often play games still drunk from the night before, and managed to have a good baseball career somehow. And his nickname was Rawhide. He was drafted into the Army in 1944, spent a year with the military, and when he was discharged from the Army, he joined the Philadelphia Phillies for a few more years before ending up his career in the minor leagues. So, bit of a dude, and I can see why my grandpa maybe cheered for this guy. He was a bit of a guy. Up next, I'm going to finish the show with just another little piece from my collection that doesn't get a lot of notice when people come in to view things, and that is this pint glass from Cheers in Boston. And I had the chance to go to Cheers a number of years ago while I was in Boston, and Boston's a great city. Just as a history buff, just seeing all the great historical sites is fantastic. Paul Revere's house, things like this that are, kind of things you've read about, and to be able to visually see them and to experience being around them is something else. I really enjoy that sort of thing. And when we were near Cheers, I thought, well, we better go there and connect that. This is more of a pop culture item for my collection rather than music or sports or things like that. So this is first time I've talked about one of them, I think, on the show. But pop culture items are kind of fun because a lot of people can connect with this through watching the show on TV, or just, everybody kind of knows a little bit about that if you're of a certain age. So to step in there was really interesting. They had a lot of things from the show in there, and it was laid out differently than what you see on TV. It didn't look the same, but it certainly had the feel that you were a part of that experience. And we sat and had a drink there for about half an hour and just took it all in. And I'd highly recommend that if you're in Boston, just to check that out and to go in and just be at Cheers for a few minutes. It's kind of cool. So things like that to me are the ultimate collectible, when you can blend your collection with an experience, and it all just sort of becomes this one big thing. And every time I see this pint glass on my shelf, I just kind of instantly think of that time, and it's a great way to kind of conjure up that image in your head, and it always helps you connect with your collection better that way, I think. So I appreciate everybody that's tuned into the channel so far and that have liked and subscribed. If you're new, this is a brand new channel. We're about 2.5 weeks in, and just getting started. There's thousands of items we're going to be featuring on the program, and different experiences and things like that. So if you like what you see, give us a like and subscribe, and I'll keep the content coming, and looking forward to sharing more of the collection with you as we go along. Thanks very much, and keep on collecting.